Our speakers today talked a great deal about climate change. The Next Century Conservation Plan highlights the fact that only 5% of our land is considered to be in good ecological health, so that's not very good, right? We are currently doing an assessment with the Prairie Research Institute of the University of Illinois to get a much more detailed understanding of our land quality, but we recognize generally that we have a lot of work to do. As we know that healthy habitats can help mitigate some of the effects of climate change, they can help clean the air, absorb rainwater, prevent flooding, and store carbon. Without a healthy restored landscape, Cook County and the entire Chicago metropolitan region will be dirtier, it'll be hotter, it'll be less safe, and frankly less appealing to the public. To restore 30,000 acres of over 25 years, the amount that we've committed to in our plan, we will need to mobilize the public to action. In fact, our planning team estimated that we'll need 135,000 people over the next 25 years to do this work. There's no way we can accomplish this without taking several key steps. First, we need to significantly expand our volunteer corps, hopefully replicating the energy, the talent, and the commitment of thousands of our current volunteers, some of whom are here today, and we always like to recognize you because the work that you do, you don't get paid to do. You do it because you care about the land and you're passionate about it. And we also need, obviously, our own dedicated restoration staff to do this work. For example, through an innovative program recently funded through the Chi-Cal Rivers Fund, the Friends of the Forest Preserves, the Friends of the Chicago River, and the Audubon Chicago region will create a new Centennial volunteer network recruiting 6,000 volunteers dedicated to restoring habitat in Chicago and the Lake Calumet region. We also want to build a permanent conservation corps to provide workforce training for restoration. So we want to focus just on the restoration mission and train people to do that work. Obviously, as you all know, during the Great Depression in the 1930s, the federal government created a civilian conservation corps. Right here in Cook County, thousands of people were hired to build picnic shelters, trails, aqueducts, and other features in the forest preserves. So we benefited from that back in the 30s, 80 years ago. This is our opportunity to do something that has the same impact and can provide similar results. Consider this. In 2012, the unemployment rate for Illinois residents ages 16 to 24 years old was 18.5%, among the highest in the nation. It's outrageous. Cook County has some of the nation's best prepared workers, but it also has a large population of adults with only high school diplomas or less, a population that's nearly twice as likely to experience unemployment and all the ills that go with that. In addition, many Chicago area employers report that they have difficulty filling empty positions because of poor job readiness among their potential employees. By offering young Cook County residents structured opportunities to learn good work habits and basic skills, and by partnering with the existing workforce development agencies, a permanent youth conservation corps could provide young adults with the foundation of a successful work life and a connection to existing job opportunities. There are also potential intersections with our juvenile justice system. Approximately 4,500 youth are on probation in Cook County for nonviolent offenses. And if you've heard President Preckwinkle talk about this publicly, you know this is a passionate issue for her. On average, it costs more than $90,000 to incarcerate one youth offender for a year. Conservation corps programs are not cheap. They can cost between $20,000 to $30,000 per individual for a full year of paid work, but compared to the cost of repeated incarceration, both financial and otherwise, they can be highly effective. Partnering with the justice system should be one component of a larger conservation corps program that builds on the many national models for partnership and the blended public-private funding that goes with it. The time is right to execute this idea. The U.S. Secretary of Interior, Sally Jewell, is trying to raise $20 million in private funds to enable these types of programs on public lands throughout the nation. That seems like a small amount of money, frankly, for the federal government. It seems like we should have some success in being able to do that. Cook County is uniquely positioned to take this leadership of this idea locally. We want to be the testing ground for all these types of things. We think there's real opportunity, and frankly, we can move more quickly. We've asked one of the region's strongest workforce development organizations, the Chicago Jobs Council, to lead a design team to help us find the right partners and strategy to make a conservation corps a permanent part of the forest preserves of Cook County. This is a practical way that our local government agency can help address both climate change as well as other social justice issues that are plaguing not only the Chicago area, but major cities around the world, and you heard some of that earlier. We hope this effort can serve as a model for other local governments confronting these same challenges. The plan also makes it clear that protecting more land is critical. While the forest preserves here in Cook County account for 11% of the county's land, nearly 69,000 acres, it's not enough. In fact, Cook County residents have a significantly lower acreage of forest preserve land per capita than any of the other surrounding county forest preserve systems. So we've got a lot of work to do. The Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning and Chicago Wilderness have identified an additional 21,000 acres that are currently unprotected and provide critical habitat or buffers or connections for trails. Protecting new lands will have a significant future benefit for such increased property values, reduced flooding, and more recreation opportunities. In addition, improving connections between the forest preserves and to people where they live. To acquire additional acreage, we need to expand our statutory authority limit from 75,000 acres, which it is currently, to 90,000 acres. President Preckwinkle has already reached out to the State General Assembly to request this legislation be acted on soon. So we've already taken action there. Another recommendation of the plan is to engage more Cook County residents in the remarkable treasures of the forest preserve. I enthusiastically agree that in order to accomplish what we need, we have to make the forest preserves more accessible to people to get to, but also to navigate once they get there. We must continue to make the forest preserves more accessible, particularly for people living in the city via public transportation, biking, and walking. Currently, only 7% of the county's residents have good public transit access to the preserves. That's clearly not enough. We have to do much better. While we don't control the transportation system, we do have relationships with multiple partners, including transportation agencies, municipalities, and townships, to make sure that sidewalks, bus routes, and good signage exist. We have asked the Cook County Department of Transportation and Highways to look at access to the preserves as they begin their comprehensive transportation plan, and I hope that we can identify some key opportunities to make sites more accessible more quickly. The plan also identifies a need to improve accessibility for people with disabilities. This is clearly an issue that we need to address in Cook County. It's increasingly important as our population ages to address the concerns of people with mobility impairments. We've made significant progress on accessibility improvements at our nature centers, so those are all accessible, but we need to do a lot more both through our capital projects and through programming. A number of these initiatives are already underway, so we're moving in this direction already. Moving forward, we'll also be emphasizing health and wellness in all that we do. The preserves offer the opportunity for people outside to be outside and improve their health. You don't need to be in a gym to get healthy. In fact, this is a much better way to do it. Outdoor exercise can combat the epidemic of obesity and relieve stress. Cleaner air reduces the risk of asthma and other diseases, and even restoration stewardship is a great form of exercise. People have long reported feeling better when they spend time out in nature. Thanks to a growing body of research, we know that access to nature correlates strongly with a healthier human population, including decreased coronary heart disease and strokes for populations living in close proximity to green space, but also spending time in nature lowers your risk of obesity through increased outdoor activity, improved psychological health, like increased happiness, concentration, self-discipline, and lower physiological stress. Who would not want that, right? It's probably helped me in all those areas since I've been working here too, by the way. These benefits of the preserves were not lost on the visionary founders of the Cook County Forest Preserves. And we believe research findings justify immediate action to make these health benefits available to all residents of Cook County. Simply put, clean water, clean air, green spaces are all essential to good health, and we need to take action to make sure that people have access. By building a network of preventative healthcare relationships and partnerships, the forest preserves can greatly increase the positive impact on outdoor resources that make healthier living opportunities for Cook County residents. This is just a snapshot of some of the recommendations highlighted in the plan. We hope that you'll take time to read the full plan, which can be available and downloaded at nextcenturyconservationplan.org. You can just go to the Forest Preserve website and you can have access to it as well. But it goes in a lot more detail about some of the things that I mentioned here, and it is visionary. Looking forward to 25 years from now, we hope that all of the recommendations in the plan to be fully realized and that everybody in this room is here to see them. You know, we're still around to enjoy them. We imagine a Cook County where people enjoy thousands of acres of healthy woodlands and wetlands and prairies filled with thriving native trees and grasses and flowers and birds and other animals, where millions of children and adults who reflect the diversity of Cook County, I don't know if that's something we can say today, but that is definitely a goal for us, can be immersed in nature and have the experience of hiking or biking or bird watching or camping or fishing or otherwise exploring nature. Thank you once again for coming today.